I heard you wanted some help with cross sections. So let's just remember that a cross section, all it is a cut of a shape. You just cut it, but it has to be parallel to the base. If you cut it another way, then it's called a slice. Think about your loaf of bread. And when you cut it in the morning, you probably sliced it this way so that you could have slices for your sandwich. But if you hacked it into like 20 weird shapes that you probably wouldn't want to eat, those would be slices, as long as it took just one cut to make them. So we can talk about cross sections of certain kinds of shapes and remember that they have certain properties. So the first thing is a prism. You know what a prism is. It just has two bases that are the same shape and then any number of sides. So a prism, when you cut it, the cross-section is going to be the same as the base. So let's look at this triangular prism. Anytime we cut it and make a cross-section, any cross-section is going to be this exact triangle, which makes sense, right? However, when we slice it, because we could slice it any number of ways, it could be a lot of different kinds of shapes. So we could slice it to get a triangle or maybe a square. But the rule we need to remember for slices is that the maximum number of sides a slice could have is the number of faces on the prism. So let's count the faces. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 faces. So what's the most number of sides a slice could have? It would be a pentagon, right? Because a pentagon has 5 sides. But we could also have a square or a triangle as well. So it could have less sides, but the most number would be 5, pentagon. So this is just a triangular prism. There are other kinds too. And the next type of shape is a cylinder. So a cylinder also, whenever you cross-section, is just going to be a circle, because you can see there's a circle. But a slice could be different types of shapes also. So if we slice this down the very middle, then it's going to be a rectangle, because if you just imagine we chop this in half, it would be one long rectangle shape. We could also slice it here, remember, because we could slice it anywhere, and it would make like an ellipse, so like a big oval. So that's another option. And a pyramid, when we make a cross-section of a pyramid, it's going to be the same shape as the base, but not the same size. And we can remember that that's called dilation, because when we make something smaller or bigger of the first image, it's called a dilation. So a pyramid cross-section, always the same shape, but a smaller size. And the same rule that goes for prisms goes for pyramids. So when we make a slice of a pyramid, it could be a lot of different types of shapes, but remember, the most number of sides it could have would be the number of faces on the prism. So if we have a triangular pyramid, then we have 3 sides of that pyramid and then a base. So that's 4 faces. And 4 faces means that the number of sides that a slice could have would be 4. It could also be a triangle too, though. So same rule as prisms for a pyramid. And then the last one would be a cone. So the only type of cross-section a cone could have would be a circle, because anytime we cut this, let's say we sliced it, it would be the same as the base, a circle. And it's going to be a circle, but it's going to be a smaller circle, right? Because if we cut it all the way up here, it's going to be a tiny circle. So it's a dilation of the base. That's just the word for it. And a slice would be, that could be like an ellipse or a hyperbola. Or it could be a triangle shape when we slice it down the very center. And one more thing is a cube. So if we take a cross-section of a cube anywhere, it's going to be just a square. We cut it here, here. Since it's all the same, it's symmetrical. But again, the same thing with slices. So what if we sliced it right here? It'd be a rectangle, right? Or if we slice it here, we can make a triangle. But the same thing, a cube has 6 sides, right? 6 faces. So we could end up with a hexagon if we sliced it a certain way. We could also have a pentagon or a square or a triangle. So 6 faces means the biggest number of sides a slice could have is 6. Same thing. So just to give you an example of what might come up, let's say, for what kind of object is a cross-section an exact replica of the base? And our options are cylinder, cube, pyramid, or prism. So we know what a cross-section is. We just talked about it. So it just means a cut parallel to the base. So a cylinder, we know the base is a circle, and so it's the same as the cross-section. The cross-section is the same as a base, right? For a cube, we know the cross-section is the same as the base. For a pyramid, is the cross-section the same as the base? It's the same shape, but it's not really the same size, remember? Because it gets smaller. So a cross-section is smaller than the base, so that's not right. But for a prism, the cross-section is the same as the base also. So we know that A, B, and D are all correct, actually. So the answer is E. Cylinder, cube, and prism.